Is it easy? Is it simple to talk about what is there now? And who can answer without hearing from the Buddha? Because no one has enlightened the truth of this moment, but begin to hear the word of the one who has enlightened. So this moment, when we think about it, it's not the enlightenment of the Buddha about this very moment. Is that right? The one who sees me, or the one who sees Dhamma, sees me. So in order to see the Buddha, understanding the word out of his enlightenment about right now, what is it right now? This is a beginning to develop one's own understanding from hearing and considering, because it's so true. This moment is so true. Previous moment gone. Next moment hasn't come yet, right? So what is there right now? Is that this moment? Yes or no? Is that this moment? Is that this moment? See, begin to think about it in order to understand it as it is, but not as it appears, as someone and something, or the table and the flowers. So it's time to begin to understand that very subtle reality right now, because even it's there, it's not known. And if you just heard the word about it, no careful consider the truth of it, how can there be the understanding of what Buddha said about this very moment? So just very simple question. Is there now?
Thưa Achaan, con xin trả lời là hiện tại thì có pháp nhưng nó không được hiểu đúng. Thì theo như cái chỗ con suy nghĩ thì vô minh hiện tại nó là thật, và nó cũng phải khởi điểm như Achaan vừa dạy, phải bắt đầu được nghe sự thực về khoảng khắc này. Đó là cơ sở đầu tiên để bắt đầu suy xét về sự thật ạ. Con xin hết ạ.
She said that now ignorance is real, and we have to start by hearing about the truth and consider it in order for the realities to be understood.
Ignorant, what is it?
Thưa Achaan là không được hiểu đúng về những gì là thực. Ví dụ như bây giờ thì con vẫn thấy bông hoa ở trước mặt ạ, các bạn ở chung quanh ạ.
Not understanding correctly. Like right now, I still see the flowers and everyone around.
So ignorance is that which cannot understand the truth of what is there, no matter it's seen or heard or anything, right? Is there ignorance now?
Dạ có ạ.
It cannot understand what right now?
Dạ không hiểu đúng ạ. Nó không hiểu về pháp ạ. Cái là thực.
It doesn't understand Dhamma, what is real.
What is Dhamma? Again, it's not just to think about the word, but to really understand the meaning of Dhamma, the characteristic of Dhamma, because there is the word Dhamma. We just not take it for granted. It's Dhamma. That's not right. But to understand what is meant by that word right now, is that Dhamma. See, right now, understanding has to understand whatever is there right now. So right now, understanding begin to develop, to consider it. Is the Dhamma right now? What Dhamma is right now? Because one heard the word Dhamma, and we talk about Dhamma, but what about the truth of Dhamma? Otherwise, we just talk about so many words about Dhamma, but not understanding what Dharma is, really is. Is there Dharma right now?
Có pháp ạ.
Yes, there is.
What Dharma is it?
Nếu như được nghe thì sự thực chỉ có cái nghe và nó chỉ nghe âm thanh.
If we have heard the truth, then there's only hearing and the sound, which is heard.
But what about right now? When there is the understanding of what is heard as Dharma, there can be the answer with this very moment. So, is Dharma there now? Right now?
Nên con mới nói là vẫn là cái hiểu sai, vì vẫn là con đang nghe những cái lời các bạn dịch hoặc nghe Achaan nói.
Because right now for me is still I am hearing the translation from what Achaan said in English.
So, is I Dhamma?
Nó là pháp ạ. Tà kiến. Cái ý nghĩ về tôi á thì
She said the idea of self is a Dhamma.
What kind of Dhamma? So many Dhammas, not just one Dhamma.
tà kiến là một cái hiểu sai hay là pháp bất thiện ạ.
It's akusala Dhamma, she said.
What is Akusala Dhamma?
Nó không hiểu đúng ạ. Không hiểu đúng về sự thực ạ.
It doesn't understand the truth.
Is there any truth right now?
Có ạ.
The truth of what?
Cái nghe ạ. Cái nghe đang kinh nghiệm.
The hearing.
Okay. There is hearing. What did Buddha say about hearing? Everyone hears, and we use the word hearing. But what Buddha say about hearing? The enlightenment. Is it enlightened? The truth of it reveals or appear as it is, or what is meant by enlightenment. So just for a moment of beginning to consider and carefully and more carefully of the meaning of the truth of it is the beginning of right understanding of the truth. Because before, there's no thinking about hearing yet, no thought about it, right? But Buddha said about hearing, whatever is there, each moment in life. To understand the truth, not just to remember.
Can the hearing now understand anything about the sound that is heard?
Dạ, khi được nghe thì mới có sự suy xét về, chứ còn hiểu hay là kinh nghiệm thì chưa ạ.
Only when one hear about the Dhamma we consider it, but not direct understanding yet.
What about the hearing at this moment? Like you said, hears the sound before there's thinking about the meaning of the translation. It's just sound that's heard. So hearing hears the sound exactly as it is, loud, soft, male, female, just the sound as it is. But does it understand anything about the sound? Does it understand that it's just sound that is heard?
Nó chỉ kinh nghiệm thôi ạ.
She said it doesn't understand, but it only experiences the
It
sound.
just experiences the sound just as it is. So this is, if we say hearing knows the sound, this is what it's meant. It just experiences the sound as it is. And earlier when Achaan mentioned the well-known quote about he who sees the Dhamma sees me, sees the Buddha. But can seeing understand anything about the Dhamma? Or can seeing only see what is visible?
Nó chỉ thấy đối tượng trị giác thôi ạ.
You can only see the visible object.
Right. So when it said, he who sees the Dhamma sees me, actually it's referring to Panya there. It's the panya that sees in the sense of understands the Dharma. So we use words in different ways in English or Vietnamese, but the point is to understand the truth, that it's only when panya, right understanding, understands what sound is, what visible object is, what seeing is, what hearing is, that there can be some understanding of the Buddha's qualities, of the truth taught by the Buddha, what it's meant by the enlightenment of the Buddha. So hearing doesn't know anything about the truth. Seeing doesn't know anything about the truth. They just arise, perform their functions to hear just what is there, to see just what is there. Even, as I mentioned earlier, even the seeing of a cat or the seeing of a mouse, seeing of an insect, just the same function, sees exactly what is there, but no understanding of anything. And yesterday, a friend mentioned about praying to the Buddha, and this is common idea that one can pray to the Buddha or pay respects to the Buddha by visiting the temple or prostrating, but without understanding, can there be any real understanding? Can there be any real respect or appreciation of the Buddha's qualities? Without the understanding of what this moment is, what is true now, what Dharma is now, actually there cannot be any understanding at all of what is meant by Buddha or what is meant by the understanding of the Buddha. So this is why to appreciate and show respect for the Buddha, there has to be the understanding of what is Dhamma now. What is the Dhamma that experiences? What is the Dhamma that doesn't experience anything? What seeing knows or sees, what hearing sees or knows, but no understanding at all of that reality experience. Sometimes we use a lot of words, we read a lot of texts, but it's all just to point to this very moment, understanding Dhamma now. Like you mentioned, ignorance now, doubt now, thinking with attachment now, thinking with aversion now, hearing. So the study and the listening is just to become more familiar, to pay more wise attention to what is real at this very moment.
Con xin mạn phép đưa ra cái câu trả lời cho cái câu hỏi của Achaan, là có phải là câu hỏi của Achaan là hiện nay thì có cái khoảnh khắc, có bây giờ không ạ? Thì theo cái hiểu của con, anh hiểu thì con thấy rằng là không có bây giờ ạ, không có bây giờ. Tại vì khi mà Achaan hỏi câu hỏi đấy thì ngay lập tức là con đã thấy là cái dòng thời gian nó đã trôi qua rồi, nó không còn moment nữa. Không phải cách này nữa, tại vì và các pháp thì nó diễn tiếp liên tục.
And she said that she'd like to answer the question that Achaan asked earlier. Is there now? And she said that as soon as Achaan asked the question, it's already gone. So her answer is there's no now.
Not at all. Or it's there, unknown. Something there, unknown, or not at all. To understand what we're saying, we just talk about anything from birth without any understanding the absolute truth or the ultimate truth of what is there now. Because now gone, and now again, and gone, and gone, but there is still now to be known. Are we talking about Dhamma now? To know how much understanding of Dhamma use this word, but how much understanding of the truth? What level of understanding? Just hearing the word, but not understand clear and clearer and clearer, deeper and deeper and deeper, because that's the word of the enlightened one about this very moment. So, now, what is there?
Pháp là con thấy cái nghe và hình ảnh những cái đối tượng là cái tổ của mắt điện. Và
She said that now there's hearing.
Do they know Dhamma or Buddha?
có ạ.
Yes.
Yes.
Please, who's he? And what is their name? Who's the Buddha?
Dạ. Đức Phật là một bậc giác ngộ đã giúp cho chúng con quay trở lại với những cái sự thật.
He is the enlightened one who helped us to come back to the truth.
Okay, the truth of what?
Sự thật ở đây là cái như là một cái tánh biết tự nhiên ạ. Còn đâu thì mắt, tai, mũi, lưỡi, thân, ý là những cái giác quan để cho ta nhận biết các cái đối tượng, chứ không sự thật không phải nằm ở những cái giác quan đấy mà chính là cái tánh biết của mình ạ.
She said that the truth is the true knowing. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching is not the true. They arises and pass away. But the truth is a true knowing, a entity or ultimate entity.
Has it been known?
Thỉnh thoảng con có biết.
Sometimes.
Really? What is it?
Ví dụ như khi con cầm một cái cốc nước lên, thì khi con cầm cốc nước thì con thấy tánh biết sẽ tự điều khiển làm sao mình đưa cốc nước lên mà mình uống một cách rất là tự nhiên, không có một cái sự can thiệp của cái lực hoặc cái mắt tai, hoặc là khi con bước đi ạ, thì thỉnh thoảng con thấy khi mà con buông lỏng toàn thân thì con sẽ thấy cái bước chân của mình đi một cách nó cái rất là tự nhiên, không có một cái sự can thiệp của các giác quan.
Example, when I am thirsty and I
No
drink
example, please, right now. Because you see that why we keep on talking about seeing, hearing, smelling, even they're so rare in life, always there, but unknown as it is at all. That's why in order to realize the truth of seeing, is it very, very subtle, very, very difficult, or very easy? Just sometime I experience that.
Con cũng nghĩ là khó ạ.
Because at that moment that I am experiencing, is it letting go the idea of I, or not at all? Because it's I who experience.
Dạ đúng ạ, không có tôi kinh nghiệm ạ. Ở đây chỉ có các pháp, có các pháp đưa đến một buổi pháp đàm này, và pháp đưa đến cái thân này ngồi đây và nghe, chứ cũng không có cái tôi kinh nghiệm gì ở đây ạ.
The truth, there's no I that experiences, only the Dhamma. For example, the Dhamma that led me to this place, to the Dhamma discussion.
That's why we talk about this moment. What is there? I or Dhamma right now?
Dạ.
To be truthful, to be true to this moment, whether it's I or it's a Dhamma. It's easy to say it's a Dhamma, right? But what is the understanding at that very moment, or how much understanding of Dhamma as no one, no thing at all? It's real, it's a reality, but it does not show up now. At moment of seeing, the object which is seen is there to be attended as what is it, but no understanding at all of that which experience or see it. Just call it Dhamma or seeing is a Dhamma. Is that enough understanding of Dhamma, or just not forget the word Dhamma and knows that whatever is real is Dhamma, but what is real now, what Dhamma is there now, in order to let go the idea of something or I or someone all around. That's why begin to understand the subtle, great wisdom of the Buddha to realize the truth. That's why he taught about the truth, the noble truth, the Four Noble Truths, 3 rounds. It's not just now I experience seeing sometime. What round of the teaching of the Buddha about the truth right now? That's why in order to understand his great wisdom, we have to consider carefully about whatever is heard. So what is not Dhamma? Is there no Dhamma now at all? Or what is there? It's something, or it's just a Nama, or that which cannot experience the Rupa, or our words, but the truth is there right now. So studying Dhamma is studying the truth of what is there, which hasn't been known before, even attended to it. It's not yet, because there is attention about whatever appears as the object, which is seen, which is heard, which is smelled, all the time. That's why just learn to understand the moment of no understanding of the truth, and the moment to begin not to forget the meaning of that Dhamma is what is real at that very moment. And we have to listen again and again and again to have firm confidence of the first round of the Four Noble Truths. Even the first one, is it keen, well known enough? Or not yet? Just at this moment of seeing, we can say, seeing is not me. Seeing is a Dhamma. But what is it which has to be getting closer and closer to really understand the nature of it? Not just the word about it, but the nature of it. That's why pay respect to the Buddha. It's not just pay respect by pay homage or present flowers and so on, but to understand his great wisdom about seeing it right now or any moment right then when it's there. Only when it's there. Because now there is seeing, we just heard about seeing. What is it? Not anyone, but what is the truth of it? It has to be carefully considered about that which we heard, the reality which experiences that which is seen, but the reality which now experiences that which is seen is not attended, not considered carefully enough. Just think that it's there as that which experienced the object. Is that the teaching of the Buddha? Just to know by hearing and think that it's not ignorance, it's understanding. There are many levels of understanding that which is now appearing. So be truthful to the truth. Is it moment of understanding that which is there, experience the object? Be true to the truth. And that is parami, Satya parami. of the four Ariya Satya Dhamma, understand what is Dhamma, and what is the Satya, and what is the Ariya Satya. Not just the word, but the degrees of understanding the truth. So now Dhamma has to be known, to be reminded, to be talked about, to get closer to it when it's there. Not to only the object that it experiences in life. Is that true? Learning to be truth to be true to the truth. Is it I who see? Yes, for sure. Right? Because even there's the word, it's not me. It's a reality. It has a reason by conditions. No one can make it arise at all. The blind cannot see. The blind wishes to see, but no condition for seeing to arise. So actually, what is the truth of seeing? To understand that it cannot be I or anyone or anything at all. Does a lion see? Or does a cat see? So seeing is a cat, or seeing is a lion, or seeing cannot be lion or cat. It's just the reality which is conditioned to arise just to see. And that is right understanding of seeing. So we live in the world of seeing, or someone and something all the times, right now. So understand this moment, that no understanding of the truth of any reality yet, but learn to understand what is there, to let go the idea of self at moment of beginning to think about it, to consider it, to understand the truth, that it's not yet the direct understanding of seeing right now, which arises and falls away, never to arise again. Is this the study of Dhamma? Not just the word? Is it the second round yet? Not so soon.
So when you said at the beginning that we talk about seeing now and it's already gone, well, this is true. By the time we say now, countless moments of seeing have arisen and fallen away, with countless moments of thinking in between. But the point is that the seeing has a characteristic different from hearing, different from the object that is seen. It has a characteristic which can be known by way of its sign or nimitta. So when there is understanding of the characteristic of seeing, it doesn't mind that the reality of seeing has already gone, because the nimitta, the sign of the seeing, appears and can be directly known. No doubt, no wondering at that moment. And as Achaan said, this is the first round. It means it's the wise considering about the noble truths, the wise considering about dhammas that arise and fall away. A different one appearing at each moment. But it's not, her question was, is it the second round yet? The direct understanding of the characteristic of seeing. Because when it's a direct understanding of seeing as a reality which sees, no question, no doubt about what is the difference in the function of seeing and the function of panya, and should we use the word knowing or another word? No question about it, because it's understood well what seeing is, just the reality that it experiences. And when the characteristic is known directly, no concern about whether the actual seeing has just fallen away, and whether it's nimitta of the characteristic or not, because that characteristic appears.
If I could just add a couple of words. When you say that the present moment, the now, is gone already, that is true in a sense. And the sense is this, that if there is the focusing on some reality like seeing visible object or thinking in order to know it better, then that will fail. That is a mistaken attempt, because that reality that one is trying to focus on has gone already. And I think this, considering this, it helps us to appreciate that only awareness and understanding that arise naturally at the same time as the present moment reality can understand the present moment reality. Any trying to do so is going to miss the mark, because it's not possible to have a present moment reality as object by concentrating on it or focusing on it, whatever. And how does that awareness and understanding arise naturally? Well, according to the Buddha, it arises naturally by hearing his teaching, his description of different realities, of the conditions that apply, and how they arise intermingled and in a series, etc. Considering that, and not just once, but gradually, many, many times over a long period, because the truth of conditioned realities is a very subtle truth. And at first, it can only be very vaguely understood. So it helps us to appreciate that instead of thinking about focusing or trying, the Buddha's advice was to hear the Dhamma and consider it, not with a view to having more awareness and understanding, but because his description of the world as we are in is there to be understood, to be considered carefully, and is wider than just what is the reality appearing at the present moment. It tends to be, I think, an idea that one's progress in the Dhamma can be measured by how many different realities there is awareness or understanding of. And that tends to take us away from actually the importance of considering the Buddha's teaching, not just when we are sitting in a group like this, having a discussion, sharing our understanding with each other, but the rest of the time too. But it has to happen naturally.